Rates of volunteering around the country suffered a lot during the pandemic, and today we'll touch on this and also why volunteering is so healthy for us and what it contributes to the economy. We recorded this story midway through last year, and so many of you called in with wonderful stories about how volunteering has enriched your lives. I also spoke with office worker by day and SES volunteer by night, Gus Sabatino. And I started by asking Gus how he got involved in the first place.
I guess I volunteered for a very long time at a professional level through my career. And when I came into Canberra about 6 years ago, I actually started noticing the devastation of storms and a lot of freak natural incidents around the community, and it kind of triggered my interest in terms of changing my volunteering from professional to community-based. And I did that. I actually went in, for all, and I haven't been looking back since. It's been a great experience. The volunteering community, as you mentioned, it's a very heartwarming community because everybody's actually giving their own personal time for someone else in need or for a community engagement that is needed, and it's been a fantastic experience.
And so, Gus, in joining as a volunteer the State Emergency Service in the ACT, had you ever done that kind of work ever before?
No. So the emergency services piece was something that through the media and looking at what was happening triggered my interest. I've always been a handyman, working around the house and doing all sorts of things with tools, etc. But never thought of the putting that to action to help someone else. And I think seeing what was going on, seeing the number of orange people that were around helping at the time, triggered something in me that said, okay, let's give this a go because this is worthwhile. And I did.
So you are now officially one of the orange people, Gus.
I'm one of the orange people, absolutely. And it's great. It's a great feeling.
What are some of the situations you've been involved with as a volunteer within the SES that you will carry with you?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm in Canberra, and we all know what's been going on Australia-wide as well over the last 24 months. For example, we've had fires, we've had freak storms, we've got situations where Canberra was hit with massive hailstorms, hail the size of bigger than golf balls, almost the size of tennis balls. And those are the activities that we go out and support. Our prime focus is storm and flood engagement. In Canberra, we also are the arms and legs for the federal police when it comes to search and rescue. So all of those activities are things that we do for the community, and being part of that, it's really self-fulfilling on one side because it actually makes me feel good. But when you see what you do for others when they are in need, it provides a very different level of satisfaction.
You can hear the pride in describing your contribution, Gus, and let's not take away from the fact that, of course, you're providing so much essential benefit during great times of need, no question at all. But there's also the personal benefits, the spiritual benefits that flow to you as an individual. And professionally, Gus, what does volunteering for the SES do and inform in your paid work?
I guess it's a sense of awareness. It's really great satisfaction when you walk into the office and, people say thank you for no reason at all.
Really?
Or you're donning, your uniform, and you've just come out of a job and you go and get a coffee or you go and buy something, and without any, request, someone says thank you for your service, and it's really good. It actually makes you feel emotionally happy, satisfied. Professionally, I guess I've got a great deal of support from the organisations that I've been working with, which is also, very welcome. And knowing that you're doing something for someone else when they are in need. I think that's, for me, that's the most important part of that volunteering in this area of the volunteering sector, the emergency services.
And Gus, just anecdotally, we're talking here overall nationally about the drops in volunteer hours, and no one's blaming anyone for that because there's been enormous pressures on all of us over the last 18 months. But anecdotally, within the SES, did you see less people turning up because of what's happening for them personally?
Look, I guess the last 24 months, like I said, have been something that has stirred a lot in the community. ACT Emergency Service and SES in particular has had a great deal of interest in becoming members, so much so that in this year's intake there were about 200 members of the community interested in joining, and we've not been able to take on everyone.
That's a good problem to have, though, right?
It is a good problem to have. We want to have everybody join the SES. Unfortunately, there are times, and the enrolment and the whole engagement of becoming a member is quite onerous in terms of capacity, etc. But we have had a good problem. It's not the same in other sectors of volunteering, and no. I guess the only thing that I would say is for anyone interested or anyone that has that kick in the stomach that says, I want to give this a go, is just go out and give it a go, because the satisfaction, irrespective of the sector that you become part of, is really great.
Well, Gus, all the best to you, and it's great to hear that, at least for the SES, they just can't accommodate the number of volunteers who wanted to put their hand up. And of course, if they can't get into that kind of organisation, I'm sure there's many others around the country that could do with the help. In the meantime, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Gus Sabatino volunteered with the SES in Canberra, and you can tell how proud Gus is of the work he's been able to contribute as a volunteer to, as he calls them, the Orange people in Canberra. What have you been doing in your volunteering neck of the woods? Because we want to try and encourage more people to get involved. We're going to talk to the CEO of Volunteering Australia in just a moment, but let's take some of your calls because I want to hear your stories. Ruth is in Sydney. Ruth, you volunteer